You're now watching Cease the Sword by Rex T. Hey my children, I want to tell you a story. A story that is so true. That was issued by President of the name Abraham Lincoln. General William T. Sherman, Special Field Order Number 15, issued on January 16, 1865. Today we commonly use the phrase 40 acres and a mule, but few of us have read the order itself. 3 of its parts are relevant here. Section 1 bears repeating in full. The islands from Charleston, south. The abandoned rice fields along the rivers for 39 miles back from the sea, and the county bordering the St. Johns River, Florida, are reserved and set apart for the settlements of the Negroes, now made free by the acts of war and the proclamation of the President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Section 2 specifies that these are communities, moreover, that these communities would be governed entirely by black people themselves, on the island and in the settlements hereafter to be established. No white person whatever unless military officers and soldiers detailed for duty will be permitted to reside, and the sole exclusive management of affairs will be left to the freed people themselves. By the law of war and order of the President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, the Negro is free and must be dealt with such as. Final section 3 specifies the allocation of the land. Each family shall have a plot of not more than 40 acres of tillable ground, and when its borders on some water channels with not more than 800 feet of waterfront, in the possession of which the land, the military authorities will afford them protection until such time as they could protect themselves, or until Congress shall regulate their title. With this order, 400,000 acres of land, a strip of coastal line stretching from Charleston, South Carolina, to the St. John River in Florida, including Georgia's Sea Island, and the mainland 30 miles in from the coast as Barton Myers report, would be redistributed to the newly freed slaves. Charles Sumner and Thaddeus Stevens and other radical Republicans have been actively advocating land redistribution to break the back of Southern slaveholders' powers, as Myers observed. But Sherman's plans only took shape after the meeting that he and Staten held with those black ministers at 8 p.m. January 12th on the second floor of Charles Green's mansion on Savannah Macomb Street. In its broadest stroke, 40 acres and a mule was their idea. Staten, aware of the great historical significance of the meeting, presented Henry Ward Beecher, Harriet Beecher Stowe's famous brother, a verbatim transcript of the discussion, which Beecher reads to the congregation at New York City Plymouth Church, and which the New York Daily Tribune printed in full in its February 13, 1865 edition. Staten told Beecher that for the first time in the history of this nation, the representatives of the government had gone to these poor debased people to ask them what they wanted for themselves. Staten had suggested to Sherman that they gathered the leaders of the local Negro community and asked them something no one else had apparently thought to ask. What do you want for your own people following the war? And what they wanted astonished everyone, even to today. Who were these 20 thoughtful leaders who exhibited such foresight? They were all ministers, mostly Baptists and Methodists, Most curious of all to me is that the 11 of the 20 had been born free enslaved states, of which 10 had lived as free men in the Confederacy during the course of the Civil War. The other one, a man named James Lynch, was born free in Maryland, a slave state, and had only moved to the South 2 years before. The other 9 ministers had been slaves in the South, who became contraband and hence free, only because the Emancipation of Proclamation when Union forces liberated them. Their chosen leader and spokesman was a Baptist minister named Garrison Frazier, age 67, who had been born in Greensville, North Carolina, and was a slave until 1857. When he purchased freedom for himself and wife for $1,000 in gold and silver. As the New York Daily Tribune reported, Reverend Frazier had been in the ministry for 35 years, and he was bore the responsibility of answering the 12 questions that Sherman and Stanton put to the group. The stakes for the future of the Negro people were high, and Frazier and his brother did not disappoint. What did they tell Sherman and Stanton? That the Negroes most wanted. He told them land. The way we can best take care of ourselves, Reverend Frazier began, to say is to have land and turn it and till it by our own labor. And we can soon maintain ourselves and have something to spare. We want to be placed on land until we are able to buy it and make it our own. And when asked next where the free slaves would rather live, whether scattered among the whites or in the colonies by themselves without missing a beat, Brother Frazier replied that I would prefer to live by ourselves, for there is a prejudice against us in the South that will take years to get over. When polled individuals around the table, all but one, James Lynch, 26, the man who had moved south from Baltimore, said that they agreed with Frazier. 4 days later, Sherman issued Special Order Number 15 after President Lincoln approved it. What became of the land that was promised? The response to the order was immediately. When the transcript of the meeting was reprinted in the black publication Christian Records, editorial noted and intoned that from this it will be seen that the colored people down south are not so as dumb as many suppose them to be, reflecting North/South, slaves, free, black class tensions that continued well into the modern civil rights movement. The effective throughout the South was electric, as Eric Forner explains. The free men hastened to take advantage of the order. Baptist minister Eustace L. Houston, one of the groups that had met with Sherman, led 1,000 black people to Skyway Land, Georgia, where they established a self-governing community with Houston as the black governor. And by June, 40,000 free men had been settled on 400,000 acres of Sherman's land. By the way, Sherman later ordered that the army could lend the new settlers mules, hence the phrase 40 acres and a mule. And what happened to this astonishing visionary program, which would have fundamentally altered the course of American race relation? Andrew Johnson's Lincoln's successor, as sympathizer with the South, overturned the order in the fall of 1865, and Barton Myers sadly concluded, returned the land along the South Carolina and Georgia and Florida coasts to the planters who had originally owned it, to the very people who had declared war on the United States of America. And there you go, my children. There you go. And so, what we need to begin to do is reissue Order Number 15. Once again.